Hey there, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Bulls versus Bears. So episode 125, Chips Ahoy. Welcome aboard, mateys. How are we all?
We're good, and thanks for tuning in.
Yep, doing
Finn,
well.
we brought you on board this week. We thought, being a resident crypto expert, but looking at Bitcoin, we might not bring that up.
Don't. We'll skip that today, right?
Yeah, we'll skip that today.
Okay.
Commodities have been crap this week. So, Jonathan, you're cut.
Yeah, that's it.
And so pretty much, Kai, if you can give us 10 minutes on memory chips, it's pretty much going to be the podcast this week, because apart from that, there's nothing good to talk about. So yes, Chips Ahoy. And early in the week, it was one of my favorite headlines in history, which was chip wrecked. But then, of course, Micron went and wrecked that by beating the consensus by $6 billion. What index is that? It's not the S&P 500, is it? This is what happens.
So that's the Nasdaq 100 for the week.
Oh, okay, right. It's what happens when you lose editorial control, and we start switching up heat maps. But
as you said, like, basically one of your headlines this week was the rally in the chip stocks is actually detrimental to the Mag 7, and you've seen
which they only realized last night.
Exactly. So Micron's up at record highs, but the fact that everyone has to pay Micron's prices means that everyone else is suffering. And as you see,
Micron's getting all the bad headlines, but what about SanDisk? It's only up 9 million% in the last fucking 6 months. So, it's down here, down the bottom there, next to Apple. I think it is up like 2,900% in the last 12 months or something stupid, because it listed.
Yeah, it's insane.
Oh no, that's SK Hynix maybe. Yeah, sorry, no, I always get those two mixed up. And your little mate Lam Research still chugging along there, Kai.
Oh yeah, 1.16%. It's
in a sea of red. That's pretty good though, right?
It sure is. I think it's an interesting story because you thought we would be past this infrastructure stage for the AI age as we're going into it, but look, there's a true constraint in hardware at the moment, and I've been telling this story for a little bit, but you go on eBay, you look at secondhand RAM. To get secondhand RAM for servers. I don't know how many people do that. I could be a very out of sample person, but it's.
Let me reassure you, you're definitely a small sample.
Yeah, I don't know if you've been doing that for funsies on a Friday night. That's what I say.
No, I haven't. Although we did meet a fella this week who who may be doing it. As we went to see a demo for a tech platform, you guys were talking all sorts of stuff that was going straight over my head. But sorry, do go on.
Yeah, no, it's a true supply constraint, right? Like, because if you go online and look at memory chips, the memory chips are actually worth more than the server. So, like, literally, if you buy a secondhand server, which are the big computers in the data centers. Basically everything else is free, and you just get the memory chips. So no, there's really a supply constraint in terms of what you can get in the market at the moment for memory chips, and that's why you're seeing all these stocks going up. Micron, SanDisk, Lam Research, SK Hynix. Micron, SanDisk, SK Hynix, they're the biggest producer of server RAM. So there's a bit of distinction between what is desktop memory and server memory. So, traditionally, what users, what we're used to at home and stuff like that, these memories are a little bit cheaper to make because the amount of errors that they can make when these RAMs are when they're running, it doesn't matter as much. But as you can imagine, if memory in a server kind of goes wrong, it's not as reliable. You have to have high reliability RAM. And that's what these guys are producing. So Micron, SanDisk, SK Hynix, Samsung, these guys are the big producers, and that's where you're really seeing the price discrepancy And you're exactly right. Like these other guys who are the service guys, where like so for example, NVIDIA, Google, you have to purchase these RAM from these guys who make it. It increases the price, so it's not really good for the bottom line. Yeah, as
Well,
simple as
as
that, really.
reflected in this chart here.
So can I just ask Kai then,
Yeah.
like as
Yeah.
a layman, and I obviously don't understand it, so it's almost like stripping stolen cars for parts then, like like
I
Well,
100%.
it's not stolen, just old cars for parts.
okay, so
we're not
but
encouraging.
either way, so old cars parts
Yep.
are actually worth as much as the new, in the
So-
new thing. So that's is that the
in-
analogy? Am I in the ballpark?
You are actually in the ballpark. So imagine the car, the engine is a CPU, right? No one cares about CPU. CPU is reliable. But if you got the other supporting mechanisms, like the radiator, the coolant, whatever it is on the side,
The turbo,
um,
mate.
the turbo, yes, exactly.
The turbo and the muffler, and the muffler.
Yep.
Actually, the turbo.
And your user interface is your Recaro seats, mate.
Actually it's like, imagine if the turbo started becoming like $20,000, $30,000. This is what's happening, right?
I'd
So
still be fully sick though.
But anyway,
So you
like
can
that,
on that.
and I'm glad I brought that analogy. So now I
That's very good.
understand what is actually happening there.
That's very good.
What's happening here is that as the memory stocks, the green line being the memory chip stocks going up, and the red being the hyperscalers who have to actually pay for it. So the check receivers is the green line, and that's the the guys making the memory chips, and the people who actually buy them off them, which are the US hyperscalers. That has been their 2-month divergence in performance. So while there was like every day, I sort of listen to Bloomberg Radio on the way to work, and get in around about the time they're closing, and there's always like a cheer, no matter what, like even if it's down, there's always some poor bugger that's IPO'd on that day that gets to ring the bell and cheers themselves. But I'm pretty sure when Micron's earnings came out the other day, I heard someone from Microsoft go boo. So and they got they're just getting smoked. So. And I must say the people from your world, Finn, who because Bitcoin's having an absolute shocker. I've noticed that all the pump guys who have still got crypto in their handle on like Twitter and stuff are just like Micron and SpaceX are like the only thing they talk about now.
Look, the people from my world have a knack for buying tops. And if you is that retail? Is that my world?
No. I'm saying that the crypto hypers, like they've moved to stocks.
Well, again, they've got a bit of a knack for buying tops, I believe. Not too bad at buying bottoms, but we always end up with a bag. Generally,
they're very good at making stocks go 15 to 25% further than what they should, both to the top and the bottom. But yeah, and I'm just sitting there the day going, geez, like what? Hang on, what? Who's this crypto such and such and blah blah blah? And then the more I dug into it, it was like that hot money has just moved sectors, and they've gone.
No, you're right. You're right. Crypto is pretty much moved to what we call TradFi now, which is traditional finance.
Right.
And yeah, most of my Twitter feed is now people talking about stocks. Which is really interesting. But yeah, look, it's
how does it feel to be so 2019?
Well, I was early. I was early on this train. I was one of the first.
I know, but like, is this the first taste of you feeling old, mate?
Oh yeah,
this is like my 4th rodeo. I've seen more black swans than you've had birthdays, but yeah, they're look, I mean. Obviously, yeah. So at the end of the day, someone's got to pay, and this is how they're paying for it. NVIDIA's like the borrowing and the massive amounts of money that everyone's tapping the market now. And Elon joined the party this week for SpaceX, so he just peeled $85.5 billion out of everyone, and then he's gone straight to market with a corporate bond, for another $25 billion, and then 2 or 3 days later, announced that he's building his own gas pipeline for his data center, like it's from somewhere to somewhere, and they're going to raise capital for that too. So, so
Wow.
he is spending other people's money like there's no tomorrow.
No,
So,
he's selling his own script as much as he can. Like that's the
Well,
printing money, basically.
I don't think
You gotta press
he
it while it's
clearly
hot. You
doesn't
gotta
care
press it
about
while
money.
it's hot. You know, there's money coming his way. You know, he's just utilizing that momentum, right?
Yeah, he's going to put a turbo on that rocket, mate, and get to Mars. So yeah, look, they're all just going nuts now, raising and then to the point where there's been 2 mobs turn up this week. Someone who apparently picked The Big Short, the same as Michael Burry, but obviously wasn't as interesting a story and didn't get a movie about it because he missed out on the movie. But I didn't understand. They're going, this guy's famous for picking the 07, and I had to look him up. So, which is couldn't have been that famous, but he.
I'm guessing he had a 1 lot on, and
oh no, he was a fairly big fund manager. And then I listened to the interview, and he was talking about value investing, and he's like, "Oh, we got out of Intel and we watched it rally for another 12 months, but we were right eventually." And I'm like, "Okay, we're from different worlds." But yeah, but he reckons that credit default swaps are blowing up, on these things. People are genuinely concerned, and because of Trump and all of this stuff going on. Private credit still, all of those funds are still getting maximum. They're all capped, but they had most of them on average had a minimum 15% redemption request this in the last month as well. So which is, and they've sort of all capped them, obviously. But yeah, but Micron was just an absolute blowout, and we won't get to the ASX just yet because. I'm going to be straight with you. It hasn't been very interesting, but I think Micron was the highest consensus targets were like 36 billion or something in a quarter, and they pulled 41.5 bill, and it's just all margin, it's just price hike. So,
but you were talking about this before, Mark. And I thought that was an interesting point. Is that if you actually have the money, you can actually leapfrog people in the queue, and that's where they're getting their margin from. So
they don't name their customers, so they kind of run this weird it sounds like they run this bit of a weird Dutch auction sort of thing where it's like, oh, you've been outbid, but you don't know who buy.
Yeah.
So which that worries me. But there's also that story that China's about to flood the market with, and I thought it was crap. So I was on Twitter and I went @Grok verify, and it was verified that the Chinese are massively ramping up low grade chips, so memory chips, and it wasn't DRAM, but it was but I mean, how feasible is that, Kai? Can they do the HBM? They can't do that.
They can.
So it'll be just DRAM, will it?
No, they can, but it's a different segment of the market, right? Because they're talking about server RAMs, not consumer RAMs, right? So you got to bear in mind
this was still server RAMs. Apparently, that's what I thought.
I think they can. Look,
might be crap.
I think they have obviously the production capacity to do so. I don't think it's out. It's not from a technical perspective. It's not that much different, but the error correction rate. So it's basically how reliable are these RAMs? Obviously they have to increase their production quality. I think they can do it if they really wanted to. But yeah, that's really the segment of the market that's under pressure. It's not the consumer RAM. So it's not the analogy I was making before. It's we're not talking about on your desktop if you wanted to add extra RAM onto it. We're talking about server RAMs, right? So they are different. It's the reliability, the accuracy, the whatever for the RAM. But if the Chinese were to increase the reliability of their production, it's not a it's not a technology that's if we're talking about fabrication, where say for example TSM, they can make chips on a 2 nanometer scale, whatever. Look, I don't think the Chinese fabs can actually compete with that at the moment. But we're talking about a reliability issue. It's not a leading edge tech. It's more a supply constraint as opposed to anything else. So yeah, I think they can do it. Question is, how reliable is that memory chip?
Well, it's HBM3, but apparently the shortage is the HBM4. So
Yeah,
I just had to because I obviously I was
but it's
I flipped
it's
through
not
it the other
leading
day,
edge.
but
No,
it's not leading edge. No.
It's definitely not leading edge. It's more a supply. It's more a manufacturing issue as opposed to like a technological breakout issue. So yeah, I think they can probably do it.
I always like it's some of the hardest stuff to verify sometimes is like because it's they're competing propagandas. And the people that got out of their Micron at $500 ago, they're all going, "Oh no, it shouldn't be here." But the bottom line is, it's an 8 forward PE based on those earnings and their guidance. So apparently it's still cheap, but an 8,
Wow.
supposedly. And yeah,
like if I mean, like BHP would be happy at an 8. Like they're like 9.9 or something like that. Like 8.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, I mean, but as you can see, the Mag 7 or the hyperscalers have started to tip over. Like, obviously, the market's decided, how much. I mean, when there might be a shortage, but when does it become when does it genuinely just become too expensive, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they're not monetizing that well out of this whole thing. They're kind of lost. A lot of them are loss leading, right? The Sam Altman's cancelled his IPO until next year. Supposedly, and apparent, which was a Bloomberg story this morning, and it was kind of on Reuters as well. But they're looking to push it. And he reckons, well, I don't know whether it was, again, you need to verify these things, but he's saying that SpaceX ruined the market basically, but him and Elon don't get along. But an interesting thing I saw was Elon's kind of given up on Grok. He's massive. He's awesome at building data centers because he got one of the biggest AI data centers up in the world really bloody quickly, and apparently he's renting out like most of it to Anthropic, and that's most of the cash flow for XAI. So yeah, and he must have put him in the slow room because I literally asked as we were preparing whether we're bullish or bearish. I asked what was the 30-year track record of whether it rallies into the 4th of July, because I was undecided. And Claude's still going, I think, but Grok finished in about 30 seconds, followed by Perplexity. So I don't know, it overthinks things. The old Claude. Obviously, commodities down this week. Lithium. There's the sodium batteries back, JT. There is a topic for you. There's panic about it. Apparently, someone's released one, and I know I'm ambushing you about this, but run us through.
What do you mean by release one? I thought Cattle had CATL.
Oh no, as in there's a serious contender or something this week. And apparently that's what's really hammered lithium. Maybe it was because it was like an American company or something, not just a Chinese company.
Oh, exactly right.
But yeah, apparently lithium's dead again.
Oh, again. But yeah, so CATL had released a sodium battery and said that they were going to put into their production cars later this year, like somewhere around September, October. So I haven't, as you said, I've been hijacked. I didn't realize there'd been some more news about this development.
Not hijacked.
But either way, the point is it was already in the ether. In that there's already a large Chinese company trying to reduce the cost of lithium ion and release sodium ion batteries. And interesting that it's out there in the ether and hit production now. So I'll have to look that up.
Well, I felt bad.
And maybe short some lithium stocks, but lithium's had a great run though, and I think this is the fourth boom and bust cycle that I've been involved with.
So I felt bad about that. So I did just quickly Perplexity it. They unveiled the Tenor sodium energy storage system at the Intersolar conference in Europe, in Munich, and it is a 30 years of grid service and 30 plus megawatt hour per module and one and
So
targets.
hang on. So this is grid storage now.
Yeah. This is what the
So
the story was about.
I was rambling and trying to catch up on sort of sodium ion in cars, which is what Cattle is focusing on. So you're talking grid storage now.
So this was it's same deal, Cattle, but they've gone large and they're doing the big size, the big babies. And apparently they're going to be deliveries by this time next year. China deliveries start in September. And 60% lower fire risk than lithium-ion batteries. There you go. That'll my mum's always been petrified to put a battery in. She must have clicked on a lithium battery blowing up video on Facebook once, and she thinks that all batteries burn now. But yeah, and obviously we had the Richard White alleged human trafficking story this week. JT nailed it on the call a few months ago, and then the poor bugger got it again this week. Basically, just it was interesting to hear that. I heard a comment today from another analyst that's saying that the best thing that could ever happen to this to stop the pain of the shareholders and management buyout, but it's probably a bit big.
So I'll just elaborate on what I said. I think it was, and just discussion around the room, is that we actually needed, and WiseTech was on the call. I had to talk about it, and I just said we need Richard White out of the headlines for at least 6 months. Just to give everyone a little bit of a chance. And then when I switched on the AFR this week, and Richard White's straight in the headlines, I'm like, oh no. And it was maybe 3 or 4 months in since I said that comment, and I just said, oh, here we go again. And obviously stock got smashed and
so
new lows. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
it just got momentum.
And the worst thing is it was a fresh allegation. Like, what are you doing? Like,
Well, apparently it's from a long time ago. We should move on, because if I get started on this, we're going to end up with a defamation case.
Exactly.
As a father of 4 daughters, I have some very strong. I like WiseTech as a company, and I do believe that the guy that got running it, he's been in the company for 15 years. So, and he's he's CEO from the inside. So, what was the And then
next slide.
next slide quickly. Aussie
Indices.
down a little bit this week, and I don't know what's going on the Nikkei. We had a little malfunction here. This is I had to use the old my workflow automations broke down, and I had to rebuild some this morning. So I forgot the old slides. The China and the Hang Seng technicals were the other way around, but so China's a strong sell, but Hang Seng.
You had to use your own mind.
I know. I had to do something manually. I forgot
can't use AI. You had to think about it.
Well, look, I had a week there where stuff was just turning up in my inbox. I was so impressed with myself. Kai might have to give me a demotion from junior dev to
junior dev to junior, but back to junior.
Yeah, no, I got up to senior junior dev, didn't I? Yeah. Now I'm going to be getting coffee.
Senior vibe holder.
But look, yeah, we got it right. So the S&P was down 1.5 for the week. The Nasdaq down 3, and this, the concentration risk is an issue, but not as bad as commodities though.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
Jeez.
Yeah, silver. Let's, again, maybe we just don't need to. We had a great start to the year in silver. I actually put my market outlook for 2026 in to check the halfway mark, and it told me I was wrong about silver, because silver's actually at what it got to $57, but and I
You're
we
like,
got
hang on.
miners. and I went back and I went, hang on, I said it'd get to one, like, you know, to $80 or $90, and so it actually gave me a tick. But that, let's face it, that thing has what, gold went from 4,000 to 5,600 back to 4,000. Silver's gone from 55 to 117 and back to 55. Oil's gone from 60 to 120 and back to 70. It's the 26th of June, guys. Like, I mean, that's like how, you know, that's out of control. That is out of control. So it's maybe there are too many of you crypto boys coming across, Finn. You might have to have a word to your tribe, mate.
We just got to stop selling. We just got to continue to buy.
Yeah, you gotta tell them that commodities are the next crypto.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, it's particularly silver.
But what if we start mining the moon, guys? Is that why it's tumbling?
Is there silver on the moon?
Who knows?
There's loads of gold, though. It'll be oversupplied.
There could be. It could be just pure silver in the center. We don't know yet.
It could be. Well, from what my dad told me when I was younger, it's made of cheese. But anyway, but yeah. So, but look, as I sort of said at the start of the show, I mean, we've really tried, but I mean, the ASX was a bit meh. I mean, BHP and Newmont have bounced back today, so like that's pretty. Healthcare actually, ResMed and CSL have made a bit of a comeback, I've got to say, and our old friend Telix has made a bit of a comeback. So I'm not going to call it, but maybe healthcare's back. I mean, yeah, I was going to go and check the healthcare sector, but
yeah, we just need Telix.
You put the Nasdaq, you put the Nasdaq in there, so we've got no healthcare sector.
But the key is we just need Telix to get above 16. 16 is the number. Once it gets above 16, all the way to 17.
70 is what you meant to say.
No, that's it. No, you're exactly right.
When they get that, so early September is that FDA approval. And we had my old mate Dorsey on the call today. We had someone send in a big kiss to him for Echo IQ. And I was on the episode where I came back to the office and we frantically bought it. And then I'm not going to name names, but the two clients that should not have ever traded small caps also watched that episode of the call, and they bought it, and it immediately tanked 55% over the next weeks. And yeah, so let me put it this way: there was no kiss for us because they were, they possibly they'd be like putting a 90-year-old into a meme coin sort of risk profile wise. Next week, not a lot again. But we got Nike. I mean, we got the 4th of July. Basically, there's fireworks at the end of the week, and they won't be of the markets variety. FactSet, you got some insight there, Kai? You used to work there.
Yes, I do. That was
probably not on on these specific earnings, but
yeah, I'll be honest. I probably haven't been keeping up to date with FactSet for about 10 years.
Yeah,
so
no,
yeah.
Non-farm payrolls is on Thursday. That's exciting because it's normally
Thursday.
Yeah, well, it's Independence Day, man. No one works Independence Day is Saturday, but the public holiday is the Friday. So next week is literally flip a coinsville for our bullish and bearish. And I think we've actually managed to accidentally put that slide in twice. So we're in we're in extreme fear. We were just in fear last week. That's it's pretty.
Why are we in extreme fear when the market? Oh, look, it's not.
Well, because it's only them. It's only the chip stocks rallying. Like literally everything else is pretty much like every single sector this week except.
But extreme fear, like this is insane. Like this, I'll have to say this market is so disjointed right now. For the fear and greed index to be at extreme fear when Micron's at record highs. And as I said, it's not continuous around the whole market, but to be in extreme fear overall, yeah, that is quite concerning. And
Yeah,
I'll just
look,
leave
I
it at that.
mean, well, yeah, but so we're all right last week. We're all bearish.
Is that the first time?
No, I think we're 50-50 now. I think we've all been bearish 4 times and we've got it right
Uh-huh.
twice. And that was the
Okay.
second time.
We can probably we can probably ask Claude to collaborate that data.
Well, we possibly can. But you know, I might have to ask the senior dev guy to help me out to rebuild my automated workflows. But and one thing we didn't mention, which I did skip ahead, I forgot the raft of and this is like a public service announcement. If you're looking to buy a new iPhone, do it this weekend. Because they are going to be
the price increase is coming.
Everything is going up. The worst is the Mac Studio. It's going, which is their most expensive computer. It's going up from $3,900 to $5,300.
Wow.
And everything else is going up by minimum $200 to $300.
That's US dollars as well. So 3,900 to 54.
No, this is everything's cheaper over there, and they don't even mention iPhones. Actually,
that's 30-40%. That's insane.
Well, some of them, yeah, some of them are a lot. The Apple TV, actually, that's the biggest percentage gainer. The Apple TV, which is only $129, is going to $200. But yeah, memory chips are expensive, and the Xbox as well. They're discontinuing the premium end range completely because obviously it's got too much memory or whatever. And they're jacking those up by $150, $200 as well. So yeah, and then everyone piggybacked and made a bunch of little announcements, but like this will be, obviously be that's inflationary. I was undecided when we pulled this up, so I've actually hedged my bets here because it was still working out what. So I was going to go bearish, but I'm actually bullish.
What?
No, because it's the 4th of July glow, and I was like, I'm sure I remember a stat where it always rallies into the 4th of July because everyone's like happy they're going on holidays and stuff. And I was right. Out of the last 30 years, 22 have been positive leading into. So I'm just going with the numbers.
Okay. Well, either way, Kai skips ahead, or we peg him back next week. Yes.
Now, but I had to, because we've got to obviously download these slides beforehand, and I'm going to. And it was still crunching the numbers. So yeah, but it's one of those, I think one of those, I'm going to regret it, but whatever. Finn, you get a guest pick. I think you're 1 from 1 so far.
You know what I think is going to happen?
What's that?
I think Trump's going to do a peace deal next week.
Like an actual deal, not a memorandum of understanding.
No, he's just going to talk. He's going to say there's a peace deal.
That's
the market's going to rally.
Hang on. It feels sorry. That's been the last 8 weeks of our life.
Yeah, well, that's why it's the best. That's why it's the best.
I mean, it's reliable. Let's face it.
It is reliable. It is reliable.
Apparently, he had a screaming match with the senior Republican this week, and he's blocked a whole bunch of bills until he gets his Save America Act through. But no one, which is just, I don't actually know whether it's remotely saving America. I think it's just a massive bill for the Pentagon. But
I think detaching from reality, I think Trump's going to save America. The market's going to go up.
Yeah, it's going to be an America fest.
It's 4th of July, baby. Like the market's going up. So that's my call. That's my call.
It's 4th of July. World Cup's on.
Yep.
Well, they spoiler alert, they just lost to Turkey. So, but I believe But
I think Trump's going to call a rematch as well.
yeah. And he's also, well, I mean, who knows what's going to happen. But look, let's wrap it up. We've done well to get to 35 minutes. To be honest, because it's not, unless you're long Micron, you're probably crying into your breakfast. So look, everyone, go to cash, probably, unless you're in Micron, or SanDisk or SK Hynix, because it's a bit, it's all a bit funky at the moment, and we'll chat to you next week.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. See you next time.